Hello, and welcome to the EVEEchoChamber. If you like what you see, please hit that sub button. If you really like what you see, you could support me on Patreon. Today, because I haven't learned my lesson about telling people to kill bases, Level 4 Blood Raider base, Anomalous Adventures. I'm also feeling a little under the weather today, that's why I sound different. Let's get started. First things first, I have the ship tab of my overview open, so that when I land on grid, I will see whether or not there are any other players in the base already. Because we are in low sec, and bases are very valuable sites, you should expect somebody else to either be there, or to enter while you are running the site. I recorded myself doing bases many times before, trying to get some good footage to put one up on YouTube, but I've been interrupted, or the site was already started by somebody else, so I wouldn't be getting the full wave information. And because of the extremely high possibility of somebody coming in while you're running the site, I typically do not orbit the way that I normally do when I show encounters and other anomalies. I usually align in one direction, either towards the station or towards the Stargate. And just like we normally do, I set my autopilot route, so if I get engaged, I can just tap the button and start running away immediately. And while we want to be aligned out for maximum safety, we do occasionally have to get into range of our enemies yet again. I believe my drone control range is currently around 40 kilometers, so when I go beyond that, I have to pop back in anytime I want to fight a new target. If you are trying a base for the first time, you should be especially careful when you're about to finish a wave. The reinforcement waves for bases are much larger, and, of course, because we come here to get warp disruptors, they can warp disrupt you as well. I want to point out my speed right here, because I correct this behavior later on in this video. First, I just looted the wrecks, because the wave wasn't too big, I wasn't too worried about it. But later on, instead of looting the wreck directly, I approached the wreck. This is because when you just hit loot, your ship will slow down and stop as soon as you're within range of the container. But if you approach, you'll continue moving towards it until you actually collide with it. So if you loot it while you're on your way, approaching it, when you're less than 10 kilometers, you can loot it and still be moving that whole time. You then approach the next wreck, or you align when you're out of wrecks, and then you will never have your speed drop to 0. If you are less confident about battle looting, and you don't want to loot wrecks while you're fighting, I would still recommend that you loot the elite wrecks. The elite wrecks have the best valued loot, so you don't want somebody else coming in, chasing you away, and then you miss out on your loot because you didn't loot while you were fighting. Now I'm gonna shut up for a minute. Enjoy the show. When you get tackled, that means warp disrupted and or stasis webbed, you can click the symbol for the disruptor in the middle of the screen below your ship, and it'll pop up with all of the electronic warfare that is currently targeting you. You can then click disrupt, and it'll show you the ships that are doing that, and you can lock them by clicking them here. I used to lock them by going to the overview tab and opening ships, showing all ships, and manually selecting the ones that have the warp disruptor symbol next to their names. But as ships are moving around and changing their range to you, they will move position in the list as well, and you can accidentally lock the wrong ship. That is the base cleared. As always, don't forget to loot. Running this, we got a storyline armor hardener worth about 25 million. We got 2 warp disruptors, which used to be worth like 12 million. I think now they're around 10. And we got some other random faction stuff. The patch coming, I think, next week is supposed to make warp disruptors more common. There will also be more enemy NPCs that warp disrupt you in other anomalies and missions, etc. If that is indeed the case, then finally other people will be correct when they say that you don't really want to destroy bases. It'll be better to just farm the anomalies instead, assuming warp disruptors actually drop from those anomalies. Thank you for watching. This has been the EVEEchoChamber. Fly safe.